starting to ground down in our child's pose. Your toes can be touching or they can be apart, your knees can be wide or together. And if you haven't already, take a big lengthening inhale and a big lengthening exhale to ground down. Feel the hips soften back towards the heels. Bring an awareness to the connection of your body resting down. And even though we might be here to get some stretching and movement and strengthening in, focus on the resting here. Not a passive resting like when we lay down to go to sleep, but like a very intentional, nothing is happening, doing nothing, softening, relaxing. Bring your mind's attention to the places of the body that are touching your mat or the earth. Take a moment to scan the body, noticing areas that can soften, like the fingers and the palms, the forearms and the shoulders, the belly, the toes and the hips, the tongue inside the mouth softens in your bottom palate. The eyes soften in the lids, and the muscles around the eyes completely relax. Take a big lengthening breath, inhale. Open the mouth, sigh it out. One more full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale here. And as we exhale, walk the palms over to the right. Keep left hip rooting back and down. And if this feels great, nice and gentle, you can stay where you are. You can take your left fingers, walk them a little bit farther away. Maybe bringing the left hand to the back of the right hand. Intentionally breathe into the left side of the body. Soften through the right side of the body. Breathe here. One more full inhale. Full breath out. On the inhale, come back through center. And exhale, walk over to the left. Same practice, second side, maybe bringing your right fingers a little farther away from the body. Maybe bringing them on top of the left hand. Soften across the right armpit as you breathe space into that side. Full breath out, sending the right hip back towards the heel. One last full breath here. Full deep exhale. Inhale, coming back to center. Bring the knees together if they're not already. Toes can be hooked or unhooked, and we're going to walk the palms all the way forward. If you have a pillow or a block, this is a great place for one as we come into puppy pose. Sinking the heart down towards the mat. Thumbs can be really nice and wide, especially if this is your first intense shoulder opener this morning. This will give a little bit more space in the shoulder girdle to soften. Chin stays at center. If the eyes are closed, softly open them and find your fixed gazing point. Like one place that your eyes are just gently staring at. Feel the shoulder blade tips soften down the spine. Full lengthened breath in. Complete exhale. Sending out more drops of air at the very bottom of the breath out. One more full breath like this, inhaling through the nose. Extra sip of air at the top. Exhale it out. Pressing out more air at the bottom. On the next inhale, press down through the palms. Slide the heart forward, coming to the low ribs. Walk the elbows in so the arms are in the shape of a number 11. Press down through the left palm, lifting that elbow. Right palm's going to come under, threading the needle. Rest the right ear down. You can stay just like this, kind of a gentle twist, or you can lift the left palm to the sky, reaching it over. Full breath in. Full breath out. One more inhale here. Exhale, softly bring the left forearm back down. Unthread the right palm. Take a moment and center. Slide the elbows back, like they're not actually moving, but you're kind of dragging them back towards the ribs. Feel the shoulder blade tips root down as the crown of the head reaches high. Inhale here. Exhale, stretching across the front side of the body. This time press down into the right palm, lift the right elbow. Left palm's going to slide under, taking again that gentle threading through the needle. You can scoot the left shoulder down, creating a little more space between the ear and the shoulder. Left ear comes down, right arm reaches up, and just gently let the back of the right hand kind of fall back. Opening across the right shoulder, breathing here. Full inhale. Full exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, slowly release. Palms are right in front of you, arms in the shape of a number 11. One more stretch through the heart. Inhale here. Exhale, come all the way down. Slide the palms underneath the shoulders, hook the toes. Inhale, glide forward, upward facing dog. Tops of the feet are on the floor, thighs are lifted. Shoulder blade tips down, heart lifts, breathe in. Exhale, feel the low belly engage as we lift first the tail, then the hips, then the heart reaches back, coming into our first downward facing dog. Before bringing any wiggles or movement, quickly find your alignment. Well, you don't have to be quick, take your time. Wrist creases are parallel with the front edge of the mat. Pointer fingers are pointing towards the front edge. Middle fingers towards the two corners of the mat. Hands about shoulder width distance. So if you came forward into top of a push-up, your wrists would be underneath your shoulders. Feet are about hip bones distance. Ball mounds of the feet are really rooting down so the toes can be soft. And knees are bent as much or as little as you like or need. Once you've found that alignment, then begin to bring any wiggles or movements to the body that feel really nice this morning. Maybe wiggling the tail from side to side, bending one knee at a time, maybe dropping the heels from left to right. Whatever feels really nice. And just listening to what your body's asking for. Eventually finding stillness and center. Full breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Soften the back of the neck. Inhale, rise up onto tippy toes. Exhale, soften the heels down. Root through the knuckles of the first finger and the thumb. Inhale, rise up to tippy toes, stretching the bottoms of the feet. Exhale, soften the heels down. Last time, inhale, rising up. This time as we exhale, begin to take little tiny baby steps, heel, toe, walking the feet all the way to the hands. Again, the knees bend as much as feels best for you. Eventually arriving at the top of the edge of your mat, feet are at least hip bones distance wide. Inhale, lift halfway, long spine. And exhale, forward fold, release the torso down. Forward fold. Catch opposite elbows if that feels good. Soften the knees, maybe bringing the belly all the way to the thighs. Bringing this opening across the back body rather than just the hamstrings. Give the head a nod, yes. And shake from side to side. Stay in stillness or rock the weight from left to right foot. Staying grounded in the feet. Bringing all of our awareness to that sensation of the weight in the feet to the floor. If you're swaying, inhale to stillness and center. Exhale, release elbows if you've caught them. Feel the knuckle behind the big toe press down. And right away you're going to feel the glutes and the backs of the legs engage, and then press down through the ball mound of the pinky toe. Feel the heels root down. And then imagine your inner ankles are rolling back and your outer ankles are pressing down, really engaging through this connection of the feet. Keep that engagement as we exhale here. And as we inhale, begin to roll up, stacking knees over ankles, hips over knees, shoulders over hips, eventually arriving at the top. Shrug the shoulders way up around the ears. Exhale, shoulders back and down. Fingers spread wide, ankles stacked directly under knees, tailbone softens down. Tadasana, mountain pose. Full breath in, full breath out. Begin to rock or kind of like sway from side to side using your arms. Like imagine you're wearing a coat but your arms aren't in the sleeves. Right? Just letting everything get really loose. Moving as fast or as slowly as you like. Arms are just naturally swaying from side to side. Breathing as you flow for 3. 2, slowly start to slow down. 1. Inhale, fingers high. Exhale, soften the knees, thumbs through heart, forward fold, release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, high push up. Check in with your alignment as we inhale to tippy toes. Exhale, drop the knees. Elbows brush the ribs as we lower chest and chin. Inhale, heart forward, baby cobra, low ribs to the mat. As we exhale, come through hands and knees, hook toes, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Inhale, length from armpits to hips. Exhaling through the nose, 1. Inhale, gentle contraction in the back of the throat, creating that ocean sounding ujjayi breath. Exhale, 2. Fixed eyes as we breathe in, single gazing point, allowing the eyes to focus so the body can be here and now. Exhale all the air out. Soften the knees, look forward. Walk or float, feet to the hands. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening from crown of the head to the tailbone. Exhale, fold. Again, root down into the feet, this time bringing arms wide. Inhale, rise, fingers high. Exhale, thumbs through heart, forward fold, release down. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, opposite foot first, top of a push-up. Inhale to tippy toes. Either move through knees, chest, chin, or option to bring the knees down as we lower halfway, Chaturanga. Inhale, heart forward, baby cobra, or upward facing dog. Exhale, leading with hips, downward facing dog. 3 more breaths. Think about distance between the wrists and the armpits, like pressing the floor away with the hands. Think about distance from the hips to the heels. Really long through the backs of the legs, lifting the tailbone to the sky. 1 more full lengthening inhale, rising up onto tippy toes. Exhale, soften the knees, gaze forward, float the feet to the hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. 1 breath per pose. Inhale, fingers high. Exhale, thumbs through heart, folds. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, high to low, Chaturanga. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, hips back. Full breath in. Exhale, soft knees, look forward, walk or flip, feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Big toes to touch, space in the heels, bend the knees, arms high. Utkatasana. Tailbone sinks low. Low belly draws up and in, so imagine the space between the hip bones and the ribs, that's kind of squeezing together like a little clamshell, as the space between the back ribs and the hip bones is getting longer. Weight into the heels. Shins are pressing back, inner ankles back, outer ankles down for 3. 2, reconnect with the breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Plant the palms, step back, flow through your vinyasa, or come straight to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Soften the left heel towards the floor. Bend the top knee and then rotate the right knee to the sky. Bring even weight through both palms. Lifting the left shoulder, dropping the right shoulder slightly. Yeah, nice adjustments. Spread through the top feet. Yeah. What are your eyes looking at? Where is the mind flowing to? One more breath in. And as we exhale, bring the knee towards center, squaring the hips. Draw knee towards belly button. Knee towards heart. Knee to the nose. Right foot to right thumb. Drop the back heel, inhale, rise, Hero 1. Connection to the feet, starting at the roots, at the grounding, the support of the earth beneath you. And then we square the hips, the ribs, and the shoulders forward. Eyes fixed, drishti. Breath deep, ujjayi. Sukha sthira, finding that balance between effort and ease for one more lengthening inhale. Exhale, thumbs through heart, plant the palms down, step back, high to low. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, hips back. Big toes together, inhale, left heel high. Feel the weight even through both palms, the weight pressing down between hands and foot, and then bend the top knee and stack the hips. Soften the right heel down towards the earth. Doesn't have to touch, just a lengthening of the back of the right standing leg. Soften through the right toes, releasing that gripping. Lift the left knee a little higher, inhale. Exhale, bring the hips square. Knee to belly button. Knee to heart. Knee to nose. Left foot to left thumb. Drop the back heel, inhale, rise. Outer edge of the back foot connects. All 4 corners of front foot rooting down. Hips, ribs, shoulders square to the front. More breath, space between armpits and hips. Exhale, thumbs through heart. Plant the palms, flow through your version of vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, right leg high. Bend the knees, stack the hips. Inhale here. As we exhale, bring knee to nose. Pause. Tilt the hips to the right, coming to the inside of the left foot. Extend the right leg and put the outer edge of the foot on the floor. Inhale, left fingers high, fallen star. Left fingers first reach to the ceiling and then begin to tip back and over, maybe cactusing the elbow opening through the heart. Breathe here, lift the hips, 3, 2, 1. Plant the left palm, inhale, left leg high. Exhale, stack the hips. Coming into a flow, inhale, center. Exhale, fallen star. Inhale, center. Exhale, stack the hips. One more flow, inhale, center. Knee to heart. Exhale, right foot to the floor, fallen star. Plant the palms, inhale, left leg high, 3-leg dog. Exhale, right foot to right thumb. Left toes can stay on the floor, left knee can stay lifted, or bring it to the earth as we come into an easy twist, left palm to the earth, right fingers to the sky. Draw the right hip back. Yeah, even a little bit more, draw that right hip back, squaring the hips. Inhale here. Exhale, palm to the floor. Keep the left heel lifted. Inhale, fingers high, crescent lunge. Deepen through that front knee. Soften the tailbone. Lift the back thigh to the sky. Inhale, reach the fingers high. As we exhale, catch the left wrist with the right first finger and thumb. Reach the arms to the sky as we breathe in. And exhale, tip the body to the right. Again, option to bring the back knee down, breathing here for 3, 2, 1. Inhale to center, release. Exhale, fingers to the floor, step back. Downward facing dog or flow through your vinyasa. Full breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, left leg high. Bend the top knee, stack the hip. Inhale to center. Exhale, knee to heart. Tip the hips to the left, inside of the right foot to the floor. Left outer edge down, fallen star. Fingers high, breathe in. Cactus the arms, exhale, 3. More breath, heart open, 2. Shoulder blades squeeze. Inhale, palms to the floor. Left foot to the sky. Exhale, stack the hips, scorpion. Inhale, center. Exhale, fallen star. Inhale, center. Exhale, scorpion. Inhale, center. Exhale, fallen star. Inhale, center. Exhale, scorpion. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, step left foot forward. Back knee stays lifted or drop it to the floor as we plant the right palm to the inside of the left foot. Left fingers reach high. Easy twist. Hug the left hip back. Think about the inner thighs drawing together like a pair of scissors. Squaring the hips. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Release the left palm down to the floor. Inner thighs draw together as we breathe in, reach up, crescent lunge. Hug the front ribs together. Lift the back thigh to the sky. Full breath in. Catch the right wrist and the left first finger and thumb. Reach the fingers high to the sky. Inhale. And exhale, gently tip the body to the left. 3, 2, 1. 1, inhale to center. Exhale, release palms to the floor. Flow or meet in downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale here. Exhale, soften the knees, look forward, walk or float. Feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Separate the feet hip bones distance. Find your peace fingers, slide them between your big toe and your second toe, thumbs to the toenails. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. As we exhale, elbows come wide, shoulders reach down towards the hips as we fold forward. Using the toes to traction down, the fingers to draw up, creating so much healthy tension and space across the entire spine. How's your breath? Where are your eyes? What's that space look like between the ears and the shoulders? One more breath in. Exhale, release only the left fingers, bringing the left hand to the left hip. Pour all the way into the standing leg. Inhale, halfway lift. Begin to draw the right knee into the heart. Inhaling to stand. Nice. You can stay like this. You can bring hand to the knee, squaring the hips down, or if it's available, you can extend the right leg forward. Finger to toe pose. Draw the right hip down, like rolling it away from the shoulder. Soften the standing toes. Soften the jaw, breathe in. Exhale, leg or knee wide. Stay here with gaze fixed forward or extend the left fingers over to the side, tracking the gaze over to the left thumb. Breathing here for 3, 2, 1. Inhale back to center. Release the fingers. If your knee is bent, extend the leg forward. Inhale, fingers to the sky. 3. Strengthening the front of the top thigh. 2, 1. Slowly release down, hands through heart, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Separate the feet hip bones distance, slide the palms underneath the feet for Padahastasana. Ideally, the toes come all the way, maybe even a little past the wrist creases. One more time, inhale, lift halfway. Soften the knees as much as you like as we exhale, forward fold. Feel the belly and the thighs touching. Keep that contact as you maybe begin to extend the knees. Wiggle the toes, giving the wrists and the palms a nice massage. Maybe rolling the weight of the foot around in the hands. It's nice and gentle, listening to what the body is telling you. One more breath in. Exhale, release the hands from under the feet. Hook the left fingers between the big toe and the second toe. Right hand to the right hip. Press down through the right standing foot as we inhale, rise up, knee to heart. You know your options. Find what's best for you. Maybe keeping the knee bent, extending the leg long. The goal here is a nice tall spine, so if you notice the hip lifting, you just come back a step. Inhale here. Exhale, leg or knee wide. Stay here with your drishti forward, or extend the right arm wide, bringing your eyes to the right thumb. Tips of the shoulder blades squeeze wide across the collarbone. Crown of head lifts. 3, 2, 1. Inhale to center. Extend the knee long if you haven't already. Fingers high. 3. Ribs hug. 2. One more breath in. And exhale, thumbs through heart, foot to the floor, forward fold, release down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the palms, come into your crow pose, big toes to touch, bend the elbows. Knees to the backs of the triceps, all the way towards the armpits. Gaze forward. Stay here with toes on the floor or begin to bring the inner lines of the feet together, lifting them. If crow to headstand is part of your practice, feel free to go there. Otherwise, stay here and breathe for 3, 2, 1. Shoot back, Chaturanga. Nice. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, hips back. Full breath in. Full breath out. One more inhale here. Exhale, soften the knees, gaze forward, walk or float, feet to hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Press down through the feet. Inhale, root to rise, reach high. Exhale, sink the hips, Utkatasana. Weight into the left foot as we cross right leg over. Right arm under. Garudasana, first side. Lift the elbows to shoulder height, squeeze the inner thighs together. Tips of the shoulder blades soften down. Full breath in. Exhale, sink low. Full inhale. Exhale, sink. Inhale, unravel, reach. Exhale, second side. Left leg over. Left arm under. Squeeze the inner thighs. Fingers reach, pressing the edges of the palms forward. 3, 2, sink the hips. 1, inhale, unravel. Garudasana, first side, one more time. Right leg over. Right arm under. More breath. 3, 2, 1. No fluff, right into the second side. Sukhasthira, what can you let go of? What's present for you that is really serving you in this moment? You are strong. Your breath is here. Inhale, unravel, fingers high. Exhale, thumbs to heart. Inhale, right knee in towards the heart. As we exhale, kick the right heel back, coming into Decasana Hero3. Drop the right hip slightly, squaring the hips to the floor. Breathe into the outside of the standing leg, the hamstring of the standing leg, flex through the lifted foot. Lift the heart, upward facing dog. Inhale here. And as we exhale, bring the left fingers to the floor or a block. Tip the hips to the right. Fingers stay at heart center or reach to the sky, half moon. Breathe here, 3, 2, 1. Either stay like this for 3 more counts or bend the top knee, catching the top foot for sugar cane. If you've caught the top foot, really press the foot into the palm, opening through the right psoas. Again, option to stay as you are, but you can begin to bend the left elbow, hinging the body towards the earth. One more full inhale. Exhale, release the top foot, fingers and feet to the floor. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, thumbs to heart. Inhale, left knee up. Exhale, hinge forward, tipping like one of those birds on the edge of a cup, extending the left heel back. Decasana, second side. Left hip squaring down towards the earth. Breathing into the outside and the back of the standing leg. Lift the heart, upward facing dog. 3. Flexing through the lifted leg. 2. 1. Right fingers release. Opening the hips to the left. Left palm stays at heart for a lower center of gravity, or left fingers to the sky. Think length from the tailbone to the crown of the head, really long, extended through the spine. Full breath here, either stay or bend the top knee, catching the back foot. Ardha Chandrasana. If you've caught the top foot, press the foot into the palm. Full breath in, either stay or begin to hinge more. One more full, expansive inhale. Exhale, release the foot if you've caught it. Use that same breath out to tip forward. Feet and fingers meet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, heel toe the foot, heel toe the feet really wide. Bring the hips to sit down, Malasana. Palms to the inner thighs, thumbs to heart center. Full breath in. Either stay here or begin to rock the weight from right to left. Softening through the hip joints, bringing fluidity and movement. Inhale, really nice and tall through the spine. Feel all 4 corners of the feet press into the mat so that the legs could stay even if you remove the elbows. Press down through the feet and inhale. Halfway only, heel toe the feet a little wider, goddess. Press the knees wide like external rotation through the thighs. Tailbone sinks down really strong through the quads. All the grounding through the feet. Inhale, right heel. Exhale, soften it down. Inhale, left heel. Exhale, soften it down. Inhale, both heels lift. 3, 2, fingers high, breathe in. Exhale, release the heels as palms come through heart. Bring the hands to the thighs, thumbs inside. Inhale. Exhale, release the right shoulder, press the right thigh away. Inhale, center. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to center. Last time, both sides. Inhale, come back to the middle. Bring the fingers to the floor. Toes point in, heels point out, extending the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Start with wrists directly beneath shoulders. Really feel all 4 corners of the feet rooting down. Oh yeah, sorry, if you are still facing the front side of your mat and you want to turn sideways, you can do that so both feet are on the edges of the mat. Might just feel a little more stable. You can stay where you are or walk the hands forward, coming into a really nice long downward facing dog. It's a really great hamstring, low spine release. Low effort, big return. Soft through the neck. Press down through the feet, feel the inner thighs rotate back. 3, 2. Stay here or press the left palm into the mat. Take the right hand to the left ankle. Again, a nice gentle twist, still leaving lots of space for the groin and the belly to be soft. Not too much compression in the spine, just a nice gentle twist here. Inhale, release, right palm to the floor. Exhale, left palm to right ankle. Full breath in. Full breath out. Release the palm. Hands back to center, slowly walking the hands back. Bend deeply through the right knee as we tip the toes, the right toes slightly out to the right, like pointing kind of towards the right corner, back right corner of the mat. Bend the knee, left toes come to the sky, Skandasana. So a couple of options with the hands here. One, fingertips to the floor, right elbow kind of pressing this right knee away. Two, palms can come to heart. Or three, you can walk the hands slightly forward. So rather than deepening this right hip stretch, we're going to be opening more through the left groin. Breathe where you are. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, come through center. And sink to the opposite side. Right toes come back to 12 o'clock. Left toes towards the front right corner of the mat. Right toes left. Breathing here. Maybe starting with palms at heart center, gently pressing that left knee wide. Staying flexed and activated through the extended toes. Maybe bringing fingers to the floor, possibly walking the hands out if that's where you chose on the first side. Breathing here for 3, 2, 1. Inhale back to center. We're going to come into a Skandasana position on the first side one more time. This time coming all the way down, seated. Take the right foot to the inner left thigh. Inhale nice and tall. As we exhale, we're going to slide the left palm down the leg, so the body's still facing kind of the long side of the mat towards the bent knee. Inhale, extend the right palms to the sky. Reverse the top palm so the hand is facing behind you, and then extend the arm overhead. So kind of like the back of the bicep is coming towards the ear. Sink the right hip back and down. Breathing here for 3. Right ribs back, left ribs forward. 2. More breath. Inhale, rise all the way up. Bring the right foot back to the floor. Coming back into our Skandasana for just a breath. Inhaling to center. Exhaling to the second side. Sink the hips down. Left foot to the inner right thigh. Sit nice and tall, breathe in. Exhale, right palm slides down to wherever it can go, as long as the left hip is still rooting. Inhale, left palm to the sky. Reverse the top palm so the thumb is pointing away from you. And then exhale, hinge over. Intentionally sending that left hip down into the earth. Rotate the heart open, left shoulder back, right ribs forward. 3, 2, 1. Inhale to center. This time we're going to plant the palms at the front edge of the mat, hook the toes, come straight to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Bend the top knee, exhale, knee to wrist. Pigeon on the first side. Take a peek at your back foot. Toes are pointing directly behind you, not sickling in or out. If you've got a lot of space between your right hip and the floor, slide a block or a cushion or a towel under there. Inhale, heart lifts. Stay like this if this feels awesome, or exhale, begin to hinge. And you just find what works for you here. Acknowledge if you are fidgeting or if the mind is wandering. And you just watch that, completely judgment-free, just noticing like what happens to our bodies when we're in stillness. intentional ease. Stay flexed and activated through the front foot. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, slowly walk the palms back towards the front knee. Press the weight into the right hip. We're going to take the left foot, swing it all the way around. Bring it to the outside of the right thigh. If this feels not super accessible, you can extend the bottom leg out. Start by clasping the hands over the front knee, hugging it in towards the heart. If this is enough, stay here. Otherwise, bring the left fingers behind you. Inhale, right fingers high. Exhale, hook elbow to knee, taking a twist to the left. No variation is better. Going deeper isn't always better. The ideal is that we're just listening to what our body is telling us, really tuning in to that inner voice, that inner teacher. One more lengthening inhale. Exhale. Inhale back to center, unravel. Release the knees behind you, making your way back to downward facing dog. Taking one more final vinyasa if you like. Inhale, left leg high. Bend the top knee. Bring knee to left elbow. Replacing the shin down, coming into pigeon on the second side. Right toes directly behind you. Flexed and activated through the front foot. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Deep breathing. Deep connection with the self here. What can soften? What can be released? Like physically and mentally, are there any stories or tapes running through the head that you notice happen or you notice often? You can just toss them out the window. One more full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, slowly walk the palms back. Swing the right leg all the way around, bringing the right foot to the outside of the left thigh. Preparing for a spinal twist in whatever variation suits you best, maybe extending the bottom leg. Starting with a clasp around the front knee, squeezing it in towards the heart. Inhale, nice and tall. Stay here if this feels ideal, or exhale, left elbow to right knee, right fingers behind, twisting from the belly button. Where are your eyes? How's the breath? Soften the tongue and the jaw. Lengthening inhale. Deepening exhale. Inhale to center. Unravel the right leg, extending it forward. Both legs extending long in front of you. Inhale, fingers high. Exhale, release the palms down the legs, sliding them forward, placing the hands on the thighs, the shins, or the feet. Inhale, extend the spine long, breathe in. Exhale, hinge. Intense back body stretch and opening. Soften the chin to the chest. Release the shoulder blades down the spine. Full expansive inhale. Deep releasing exhale. As we inhale, give the legs or the feet a little rub down. Maybe bring your hands into fists and some gentle taps. We're going to come into reverse tabletop. There's two options for this. First option is to bend the knees. Fingers can be pointing out wide or directly towards the body. Second option is to keep the legs extended and just scoot the heels in slightly so the bottoms of the feet will come to the floor. Wherever you choose to go, we're going to first wrap the shoulders back and lift the heart. Exhale here, feel the low belly engage. And as we inhale, lift the hips. Knees bent or knees extended. Wherever you go, think hips and heart high. For 3, release the chin back. 2, full breath in. Open the mouth, stick out the tongue. And soften the hips down. Scoot the hips to the center of the mat. Slowly come all the way down onto the spine. Draw the knees into the heart, giving them a little squeeze. Rolling them in one direction. Massaging the sacrum, low spine. And then switch directions. Circling the knees. Pause and center. Find happy baby, knees wide, hands to the edges of the feet, either inside or outside, whatever you prefer. You can think about the tailbone unraveling. You could press the feet up as the fingers draw back and down, creating a nice compression in the hip joints. You could stay with knees deeply bent or extend one leg or both legs at a time. And you can rock from side to side, and making this yours. One more breath in. And as we exhale, bring the soles of the feet together, edges of the feet to the floor, Supta Baddha Konasana. One hand to belly and one hand to heart. Soften any ujjayi breath that might be lingering. Let go of any effort or work. Take a second to readjust the body in any ways needed to really allow yourself to soften and be here. Imagine in your mind's eye a light. The light might be bright or soft. It might be white or a color. But find that light in your mind's eye. Hold that vision. And notice any areas in your body that are asking for love and attention or healing. And bring your attention back to the light. And very purposefully send this light to those places in the body. Really envision that light moving through the parts of the body to areas that are asking for it. Imagine this light has healing capabilities. Wherever this light touches, there's softness, warmth, comfort. Each inhale and each exhale, reinforcing this vision. another breath or two, holding this light in your mind. You either stay here, breathing in Supta Baddha Konasana, or move your body into full Shavasana, releasing feet to the corners of the mat. Arms alongside the body with palms face up. Intentional rest. Know that there is nothing to change. There's nothing to fix. Everything is exactly as it should be. You are perfect exactly as you are. We'll stay here for a minute or two, and I'll call you out when we're ready. Begin to deepen the breath. Bring small movements to the fingers and the toes. Gently rock the head from side to side, bringing movement to the wrists and the ankles. Eventually extending the arms overhead into a full body yawn. And as we exhale, draw the knees in towards the heart. Rolling over to one side, using the bottom arm as a pillow. With eyes still closed, gently press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Feel the sitting bones root down. Feel the spine grow tall. Palm to palm with thumbs at heart center in Anjali Mudra. And we'll close our practice with one unifying Om, cleansing breath in. Open mouth. Deep inhale. Thumbs to third eye point. The divine light in me